Sitting there watching Robyn and Meri come together was like looking at the broke down Legion of Doom. These two women got together and the first thing they did was try to manipulate each other. It was classic. Hi, I'm James and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about sister wives, Meri and Robyn, the Fugazi twins, and why they are trying to get together, what we should draw from that, and how we should respond to people like these folks in our lives. Now, if you're getting anything from the content and you're not subscribed, I would ask that you consider subscribing. It helps the channel out, helps me out, and hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and hit that HBO special down below. And if you're already a member, you're already subscribed, think about hitting that like button. Ting! It really helps the channel out. And hey, I like to know that I'm doing a good job and you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks. Let's get it. First things first, when the two women get together, like I said, off rip, the first thing they try to do is they kind of stare at each other. And it was one of those looks from Meri to Robyn and Robyn to Meri that if this was like a Wild West film or a Clint Eastwood type movie, I would expect a shootout to jump off because they look like they was about to get it in. You know what I mean? They could have called this bad boy and set it off because of the way they were looking at each other. Even Meri with like little half-cocked smile because she knows at the end of the day she can't stand Robyn and Robyn can't stand her. Like these two women don't like each other. And it's clear that they don't like each other. They're not friends. They're just friends by convenience and by manipulation. That's the first thing. The second thing, although I think Meri is a victim of the system that she's a part of, we can't take away her culpability in helping to formulate the system for which she is an oppressed person in. Meri helped to formulate this family as she so proudly proclaimed a couple episodes ago. Like she said, she was there in the beginning. She helped Cody. I'm sure she was the one doing all the conversating and the talking to the other sister wives, trying to settle them in. Even when Christine was talking about leaving when they were on Coyote Pass, Meri was the one who pulled Christine aside and said the ridiculousness of, just look at the mountains. Just look at the mountains. My life is terrible. Cody is a piece of crap. I know. Just look at the mountains. Like the mountains were going to make her forget that her life is hell. And Meri is a part of it. So we can't excuse Meri. Like if a movie came out, Meri would be the first villain in the first movie. Robyn, on the other hand, would be the sequel villain. She'd be the bigger, better, badder villain, more evil, more sinister, just sleep down and faster. So she's like Meri plus. And when rubber meets the road, part of the reason why I think that they don't like each other is because they're too much alike. Meri, for a long time, if you listen to how they talk about and describe the relationships between the sister wives and Cody and how they interacted with each other, Meri always kind of held herself out as the first wife or the boss or the favorite wife. She's always kind of stomped around the house and pushed around Janelle, pushed around Christine, which is part of the reason why neither Christine nor Janelle have an actual relationship with her. And then when it came time for her to separate from Cody, they were already having troubles and issues. Then enter Robyn, the sequel villain, and she took over Meri's spot. She became the first wife, the favorite wife, the legal wife. So literally, she just stepped right into Meri's shoes, and Meri doesn't like it. And Meri is fighting so hard to try to recapture any part of the family or any semblance of the family that she's losing focus of what would actually make her happy and what she could do to make herself more fulfilled. And it's a very sad situation all the way around because the very person who's trying to set themselves up to oppress other people is being oppressed by the same system that she's trying to use to oppress others, particularly Christine and in many cases Janelle. Like, I still haven't lost sight of the fact that Creepy McSneaky is sitting on top of that hill trying to look down on Janelle all the time. And what is she doing? She's keeping track of what Janelle is doing so she can go back and report to Cody what's happening. And I haven't lost sight of that. And the person I'm talking about is Robyn. Robyn is super sneaky. This is the kind of woman, you don't turn your back on her at all. Like, you can't trust her as far as you could throw her with 2 bricks in her pocket. Because she's not that kind of person. And I want to put it where the ghost could get it. Robyn is the kind of woman who will stand there and say, look, no matter what happens, I got your back. And the reason why she wants your back is because it's easier to slip a knife in from back there. Because she's a backstabber. See, Robyn is the kind of person who uses her voice as more of a whisper. So she's kind of that whispery type. She'll go behind everybody's back and talk crap about everybody who's involved. And then when the situation explodes, it's because she put poison in everybody's ear. Like she's an earworm. So she'll go to Meri, talk crap about Christine, talk crap about Janelle. Then she'll go to Janelle and Robyn, if she can, and talk crap about Meri and Cody. Then she'll go to Cody and talk crap about all of them. And then when the situation explodes, Robyn will sit back and pretend like she had nothing to do with it and she had no idea. If you look at, like, for the most part, look at what happened throughout the time that she's been on the show. As a viewer, I can honestly say I know very little about Cody and his interaction with Robyn and how they get along in the house. Because for the most part, Cody and Robyn don't film themselves actually interacting. Most of the time anytime you see Robyn and Cody together, they're usually in the company of another wife. They very rarely will set it up so that they are all together, or more to the point, that Robyn and Cody are all alone and you see the interactions between the two of them and how they function as a family. Now, when it comes to the whole, why would Robyn show up to the house to talk to Meri? Because Robyn is trying to recast or gaslight the entire reason why Christine is leaving. She's trying to say that Christine is leaving because she was being deceitful and she was being dishonest. She's trying to say that Cody had no idea that this was going on, and she was trying so hard to get Cody just to talk to her so that they could try, because this is something that she so desperately wants. This isn't something that she desperately wants. What she desperately wants is for them to stay on TV. What she desperately wants is for them to continue to have the success that they have linked and the opportunities that they have linked to being on TLC. If it wasn't for those programs, she would find herself probably in a situation similar or like the one she was in with her ex-husband, where Cody can't afford to take care of her the way he's been taking care of her. Even when they talk about a lot of the family stuff, the family finances, other than people actually going out and doing extracurricular work outside of what you see on a television show, there's very little clarity as to exactly how the money is broke down, who's getting what, how much everybody is paying for what. Usually when you find out prices or you find out titles to deeds or anything like that, usually it's because somebody else went outside of the show and they tracked down the paperwork. Robyn is trying to perpetually put Christine and Janelle in a bad light, and she's trying to bond or unite herself with Meri so that way she has somebody who she could talk to and try to rebuild the family. Now, when she talks about rebuilding the family, the reason why Robyn actually had to show up was because Cody doesn't get along with Meri. She's sitting there in the same position Christine is in, and I'm sure it's crossed her mind that maybe she should pack a bag and leave. Maybe she should go and get on with her life. And Robyn and Cody are doing everything in their power to keep her from doing that. Now, clearly, Cody can't show up to the house and start talking to her. Cody could actually, the crazy part is that Cody could turn Meri around with one visit. If he goes over and he says, "Hey, baby, I'm willing to try to work things out," he don't even have to do anything beyond that. That's all he has to say is, "Hey, I'm thinking about maybe we could try to give it a go again." And Meri is locked in for another 10 years. But Cody refuses to do it because Cody is in a monogamous relationship with Robyn and he doesn't want to. He has no desire. Meri did a smart thing because she tried to flip the whole script by saying, he doesn't fight for Christine. He doesn't fight for me. Now all of a sudden, Robyn is trying to back up. I don't want to get involved with the sister wife business because it's not about the romance and stuff. No, girl, you want to be in it. Let's get in it. Let's talk about it. You wanted to talk about it. Let's talk. If you really was about your friend and you was really about the sister wife and you was really about the polygamous situation, you would give support to Meri and encourage Cody to try to reunite and reconcile that relationship that he has with Meri. She hasn't done that. Robyn, whether she likes it or not, she likes it, but she pretends not to like it. She has the strongest voice out of all the wives. If she says something to Cody, it lands a lot harder than any one of the other wives. And she can take advantage of that. So if she really wanted to help Meri out, she could do that. Now, here are the lessons that we can learn from this. First, never trust anybody who will sit there and talk about somebody behind their back, even if they're talking to you. I don't trust anybody who wants to talk about somebody else behind their back and try to run that person down. But then when it comes time for them to say it to that person's face, they have nothing to say. Or worse, they're sitting there with smiles on their face, or they're trying to pretend like they have nothing to do with any of the disagreements, so they don't have an opinion until that person turns around and they got all the opinions in the world. 2, Robyn, even though she's sitting pretty in the position that she's in right now as the first wife, she has to learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from Meri's mistakes. Meri was your prototype. If Cody goes out and he finds somebody else who is similarly situated to you, then he will replace you the same way he replaced Meri. If he doesn't have loyalty to Meri, then he's not going to have loyalty to you. This is who he is. Recognize people for who they are. There was an old trick that my mom always said, like, if you take somebody out on a date, and I'm sure other people's parents have told them the same thing. If you take somebody out on a date, see how they treat the wait staff. Oh, all of a sudden you want to talk to the waiter like he ain't nobody, or the bartender like ain't nobody, or the young lady taking tickets like she's a fool. Be cool with everybody. But if you're the kind of person where you have to have a certain position in order for me to talk to you, then I don't want to deal with you. Because when push comes down to shove, what that means is if you ever fall off or you ever lose status, then that person is going to turn on you and treat you the exact same way, because that's who they are. And that's the lesson that Robyn should have picked up from Meri. Another thing, when they sit there and say that, oh, so-and-so was talking about you behind your back, and this is what happened, and they said, and they said, and they said, here's a clue. Always ask them, what did you say? When they were talking trash about me and they were running me down and running me into the dirt, what was your opinion? What did you say? Because you my ride or die. You care so much about me. You're going to come and tell me what the other person said. Why don't you tell me what you said? Because clearly either you were participating in it or they were cool enough with you that they thought they could talk about me. You know, your best friend. So what did you say? Now, when it comes to people like Robyn, and even to a point Meri, you have to watch people like that, because what they do is they systematically try to turn everybody against each other. So that way, when everybody else is fighting, they get to be the innocent one. They get to be the one who tries to hide back all the wrongdoing and all the bad that they did and cover it with somebody else. Robyn has sat on that stage. Every time she does an interview or a confessional, she always tries to find herself somewhere where she's trying to cry. If you are trying to cry, you cannot try to cry. Robyn is a faker and she's an actress. She's a bad actress at that. Because if anybody who's ever acted knows, and you're trying to show emotion, you cannot control crying. Why? Because one, it looks fake as hell. Because nobody who cries on purpose or is okay with crying, especially when they're in a conflict. If you're in a conflict with somebody and you start crying, the first thing you try to do is hold back the tears. The last thing you want to do is cry in front of somebody if you're fighting with them. So you try to hold the tears back, and you trying to hold the tears back actually make the tears worse. And that's where you get like the big blubbering and the crying and the blowing the snot and all that. You say that you just want everybody to know what kind of person you are and how good you are, and that you love everybody and that you want the family to work. Woman, we see you, and we just don't like what we see. We see that you're a faker. We see that you're going back behind everybody's back, backstabbing the hell out of everybody. We see that you're two-faced. You're a two-faced fugazi faker. You can't be trusted, and everybody knows it. This is the kind of people that I try to avoid and stay away from. I don't want nothing to do with people like this, because at the end of the day, you can't trust what they say. You can't trust what they're saying about you. You can't trust what they're saying to you. There's no point in you having a relationship with them, because everything about them is built on a lie. And that's where Meri as a prototype and Robyn as the new improved model comes in. And that's why I say that these two are kind of like that broke down Legion of Doom. I'm James. This is my take on reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life